And it showed the video where they called a guy in to try to get it. And this snake was like 6-7 foot. It was a big rattler. It was big. And he had a heck of a time. It took him 20 minutes to try to hook him and get him up out of the toilet. It didn't want to come up out of there. But could you imagine next time, even after they've gone and gotten him, from that point on, when you go use the bathroom, you're going to be like PTSD thinking, snake or no snake? Yes,
we're going to go. Boy, we're going to have to go on break here right now. I almost lost track here. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. In a few minutes, we're going to have Clarence calling up, and we're going to be doing our roundtable for the next half an hour before the guest comes on. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio with Gary After Dark. Wouldn't you believe it? The computer just updated.
You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. Good evening or morning, depending on your time zone. From the Pacific to the Atlantic to you worldwide. Get yourself a cup of Java and find a comfy, easy chair. And get ready for Gary and his guest on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. And now, here's Gary.
God, I feel like Johnny Carson every time he says that. I don't know, James. Doesn't it make you think of Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon?
It does. It makes me feel like Ed McMahon. I think I should be saying, here's Gary.
Yeah, and I keep almost over-talking it. You know what happened again? One of my computers is updating. I started the bumper music, and all of a sudden the computer went down and started updating, so I had to switch up to a backup computer really quick. What can I say? Only on talk radio.
Yeah, it always tests you. It tests your nerves, your anxiety level, and how well you can withstand it, and how quick you can be on your feet to rotate to another computer. Thank God you've got some backups on standby.
You know what? If I was in that toilet and sat down and it blew up with me in it, okay, I'll tell you what, I'd be getting an attorney really fast. You know, not just that. I don't know if he got hurt, but you can imagine if it blew up what he was covered with.
Oh, Lord, you paint some of the most unique pictures in my mind, Gary. From
Could
the
you
paranormal to the...
Well, I'll tell you what. I would never go into a porta potty after that. Because who knows? I guess maybe could methane gas actually build up enough if they haven't pumped it out enough? And maybe if somebody lights up a cigar or a cigarette, it could ignite it?
It could. I mean, plus, who's to say that somebody didn't pour something else in there, like gas or something? You don't know. But I try to avoid porta potties. Just the name porta potty sends chills up my spine. I give them a wide berth. I don't even get near them, much less use them.
Well, you know what? They should put a big sign on them. Caution, enter at your own risk.
Own risk.
And then when you open up the door, back on the back side, before you sit down, it should say, warning, no smoking.
No, Smokey. You know, I actually did go into one of those years ago, and it's funny, I talked about the snake. There was a daggone snake down, and I think it was a garter snake. It wasn't poisonous, but either way, I did not. I left. I exited quickly.
Well, I would have too. I mean, I don't like snakes at all. I mean, I remember I was at a hospital one other time with one of my kids years ago, and they were down at the river, down in Auburn, Washington, and somebody picked up a garter snake. It was by the river and threw it, and it landed on my son's nipple.
Oh my! What a shock!
And bit down. And no matter what I tried to do, I couldn't get it to release. So I had to take my son to the ER to have him remove the snake off of, it just clamped down like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, and a lot of those snakes, their teeth are facing like backwards, like back toward them. So when they grip in, it's hard to pull them out. You really pretty much got to kill the snake to get it off sometimes, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Well, I mean, can you imagine walking into the hospital without a shirt on with a snake hanging, on you? I think that would be kind of freaky in a way.
It would be. I'm surprised the nurse or doctor didn't say, "Hey, did you lose one of your nipple rings?" I mean, it would be bizarre. Jeez, a poor guy.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, you know what? He is deathly scared of snakes.
I wonder why. I wonder why. He's probably got post-traumatic stress even seeing a snake, much less one flying in the air coming at him with. Oh boy, I feel for him. Yeah,
one year when we were going to see my friend in Nevada, I was taking pictures of like old ghost towns and stuff like that, and it was rather interesting because we found this old farmhouse. And I was taking pictures of it, and my son was taking a stick and poking it down these holes, like rabbit holes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he found out that wasn't a rabbit hole. A rattlesnake came out of it.
Yeah, that's what happens. See, I don't know, maybe people don't realize it, but rattlesnakes or any other snakes, as far as that goes, they like to go into rabbit holes or mole holes or whatever for their, they can cool off down there. Or plus, it's a win-win for them because they eat what's in there and then hang out afterwards. So, yeah, you got to be careful poking sticks in places you don't know.
Yeah, well, especially out in the desert. Hey, Clarence, are you there?
Yes, sir, I sure am. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How about you, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. A little chilly here in Minnesota, but not too bad.
Boy. Well, at least you're not doing... Hey, what's your temperature, James, where you're at today?
Today was about 57, 60. It actually was like a fall day today. It was like the second day that we've ever had felt like fall in October besides 70 to 90 degrees, which is weird, but it's a regular fall day.
Oh, wow. I guess, Clarence, you missed what I was talking about, the guy who went into a porta potty. And he sat down and it exploded on him.
Oh, my goodness. Methane?
It had to have been methane. I don't know. It didn't say if the guy smoked or not, but that's the only thing I can surmise. Maybe he went into a porta potty. They weren't pumping it enough to keep it clean, but they should have. Methane gas was developing, and he probably lit a cigarette and got how can I say it, a bad blowjob.
I could actually see that happening, especially if it's been sitting there for a while,
Oh, yeah, they showed a picture of it on the news. The whole door of the porta potty was blowing off.
Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine?
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, but you know what? I'll be honest with you. It is funny when you think about it.
You talk about having a crappy day.
Well, you said that one right. Well, hey, Clarence, why don't you tell my listeners about your podcast on Saturday?
Oh, yes. My show is actually called Closer Encounters, which is also Closer Encounters Radio. And I've been off the air now for almost 3 months. It's been a while since I've done my last one. And we're restarting it back up this Saturday. And it'll be at 6 o'clock Central Time. So if anybody would like to watch, you can get on Facebook and look up Closer Encounters Radio, and you'll find us. and that's where we'll be.
What type of topic are you going to be covering this Saturday?
I do a lot of different things. Actually, this Saturday I'm going to be looking into the Danbu Valley civilization out of old Europe. And I got a couple of connections I'm putting together, which I actually think is part of Gably Tepe. Yeah, there you go. So
interesting. Well, how long is your podcast for?
It'll be on roughly 2 hours. It depends on how long I can keep the topic going, and of course, if I get callers that call in, and different things like that. So we're going to play it by ear, but I'm hoping at least 2 hours anyway.
Well, it sounds like fun. People, you need to get on and listen to a show this Saturday.
Yes, absolutely. And even if you got something that's off topic, please call me. I'd love to hear from you.
Now,
absolutely.
Do you have a number or anything handy? What your number is going to be, or is it one of those numbers you don't know what it is till you do the show?
No, actually, it's advertised on my page and stuff. And anytime you see my post or whatever, it always has the number on there. And I don't have it handy right off here. I could tell you, it's a newer number. It's an 800 number, so it's a free call. So, if anybody wants to use it.
Yeah. So, what do you think about these Earth changes that's going on, Clarence?
Well, I remember last night on your show you were talking about it a little bit, and I mentioned the fact that the Earth was tipping, and actually I should have wrote that differently for you. But, yeah, I think you're dead on with the magnetic structure, changing. We talked about this the last time I was on your show about how, north is going to be south and south is going to be north. Every few million years, maybe even sooner than that, I believe the Earth does a magnetic pole shift, from one end to the other. And it just screws up everything, animals, their senses and stuff like that, all kind of stuff, weather, you name it. Everything is just backwards. So,
yeah. We don't even know what could happen. There's some scientists that claim with the Earth does a pole shift, there could be, 300 mile, 800 mile an hour winds come zooming through, depending on how fast it flips. If it flips like, almost instantly, which it could. I mean, we could be really in for it, but we don't know. But I think that's what's happening to like all the wildlife, everything from deer to moose to fish to birds. They don't know which way to go. I think also even bees, there's been a major, the last couple of years of bees dying. And I think that is because of the magnetic changing of the Earth.
Yes.
They're getting lost, and they go out of their hive and they can't find their way back.
Oh, absolutely. And even bats right now are having a hell of a time. They're finding places like under bridges and stuff. Matter of fact, there's an article just on it here just today or yesterday where they found a swarm of like 10,000 of them that are living under a bridge because they don't know where their home is. And so they located themselves to that spot, and that's where they're at, because their honing devices are all messed up. So everything is definitely changing. Like you mentioned last night, the salmon and that aren't coming up river anymore like they used to. We got whales and stuff that are showing up in places that never had whales before. Dolphins, things like that are having a rough time. Monarch butterflies aren't flying south like they used to, or the geese, as far as that goes either. So a lot of differences.
Yeah, actually, the butterflies were off this season by a couple of weeks. It was crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, and that hasn't happened before. I think there's a lot of strange things are going on. James, what's your feeling?
Absolutely. I just seen another article. We talk about routinely about Antarctica and the ice caps and they're melting and all that. An article just came out today where scientists are predicting that if it keeps going the way it is, because with the concentration of carbon dioxide has reached 415 parts per 1 million.